And we are live. Hey everybody, let me double check here on my laptop. Yes, we are live. Hey there. And I am of course speaking to our fabulous the Psych Professionals community. My name is Garamala. I am a clinical psychologist and the founder of the Psych Professionals, and it has been quite some time since I've been live here with you guys. So I definitely said today is the day. I've got something to share with our Psych Professionals family. Alrighty, now what I want to do is my lovely assistant Abby is sharing this for us. Hey Amanda, how are you? How's the Gold Coast today? I hope you had a fabulous Easter weekend. I hope all of you have had a safe, restful and relaxing Easter weekend. I know I sure did with my family. Didn't do much, which was just perfect, right? Excellent. Amanda says hello. So I wanted to come live to you this morning because I was out on an early morning run today, and when I do my running, it's really, for me, it's my meditative state. So I do a lot of thinking when I run. I have this little habit where I listen to the same song on repeat, right? Now, a lot of people might think that that is pretty boring, but to me, that's the meditative part of it, where I really get to tune out. It means that I can run without even noticing that I'm getting tired. And it also means that my mind just starts to think, different things to what I would normally think when I'm just sitting at my desk and going, oh, what do I need to do, right? Everything just becomes so much clearer for me when I go outside, and I really prefer to do running in the road rather than running in a gym or on a treadmill, although I do that from time to time depending on the weather. But I really prefer to get out in nature, do my run, and it's just so amazing. And this morning I was particularly thinking about the Psych Professionals community as I was out on my run. Hey Kim, how are you? And I wanted to share something with you because I was on my run, I was running, and every time for the last month or so, when I would go on my morning run, I have found myself just like double checking before I leave to go, should I really be going running? Is this the right thing for my health? And the reason being that apparently I've got a huge iron deficiency in my system. So a couple of years ago, probably now 4 years ago, I moved from my old suburb where I lived into this new suburb. And obviously when you move and you're far away from where you lived previously, you go and see a new GP, right? And I've been seeing a specific GP for quite some time. And earlier this year, I went in and she just said, you know what, Gerda, I've noticed we don't have any blood tests on file for you. And I just want to run some standard blood tests and, just make sure that we have it on file, right? I said, okay, sure, doc, I'll go and do that. So it took me like 2 to 3 weeks to actually get to the pathology center to get the blood test done, because it was one of those where you actually had to not eat food, so you had to fast and all of that stuff. It's really hard going without coffee in the morning, so it took me some time to get there. And then they called me in like so urgently, you need to come in, you need to come in. I was going, oh my God, I'm dying, because it's so serious. But basically the gist of it when I was going in is that she said that my iron levels are alarmingly low. So these are the words they're using, alarmingly low. And it is amazing that you are still standing. And my first response was, Doctor, are you sure you've got the right person's results? I was at the gym just this morning, right? I go running most days of the week. She said, yes. She couldn't explain why I was still functioning, right? And not only running after 3 kids, running my businesses, presenting workshop, because you guys might know that I'm not at the practice that often anymore, right? I'm rarely there. You are all, of course, in the fabulous hands of our principal psychologist, Chelsea Knight. And, you know, because I'm traveling, I run workshops these days for other allied health professionals. And that's a tiring exercise, right? Traveling, presenting, all of that stuff. And the doctor was just so, you know, so amazed. And the reason why I ask myself every day, should I go running, is because I haven't had my iron infusion yet, right? Because it takes time for them to actually book you in. And I think I'm going when it's like the last day of April. I think it's a Tuesday potentially. I'm going for my actual iron infusion. And I kept on thinking about this, like, how am I able to cope, to function at a pretty high level, according to me, like as high as I would normally function with this really significant, alarming iron deficiency. Like, one of the levels was so low, she said they couldn't even measure it. There was so little, right? I just can't remember off the top of my head the numbers, although she did tell me. And she just said, this is shocking results that you have, Gerda. She said, no use taking tablets, no use even getting an injection. It's not going to help. You need an infusion. It's like, that's how bad it is, right? And here I am, and I still haven't had the infusion. And it just reminded me of how, you know, when normal is no longer normal. Because for me, this is currently what I have. This is my normal. But once I've spoken to an expert, my GP, it was like, oh, hang on, it's actually not normal. It's actually not normal, because if I can just think like, oh my goodness, what if I actually had proper iron levels, right? How would I be feeling then? How would I be showing up then? How well would I be coping then? What amazing things would I be able to achieve in my business? You know, how much more energy would I have to actually spend time with my kids and do activities with them if I had the iron levels that I am supposed to have? Right? It's like, it just blows my mind. And the difficulty is, because I haven't had blood tests in 5 years, they don't know when it started, what the cause is, and how long this has built up to these low levels, right? What we are doing is fixing it. But it also reminded me of what often happens for our clients that come in to see us as psychologists at the practice. And I mean, I have spent lots and lots of years in clinical practice at the Psych Professionals. Some of you watching have probably been clients of mine specifically. And it is so often, I would find over the years, that people would come in for their first session to come and see me for whatever reason. Their doctor has referred them, or maybe friends and family have referred them. Sometimes people self-refer because they know something is going on that's not okay, right? And then they come in, and then we do an intake interview, which is really a bit of an assessment. We ask questions around these symptoms. We also do a questionnaire called a depression, anxiety, stress scale, which gives us scores for depression, for anxiety, and for stress, right? And we interpret all of that. Then normally after session 1, I then go back, I look at all this information, and I present that back to the client in session 2. And I can't tell you how many times, like 9 out of 10 times, when people come into the second session and I start to talk to them about their results, I do it in a specific way where I really ask them, how bad do you think it is, right? And people 9 out of 10 times just think, you know, oh, maybe my depression is mild, or maybe my stress is moderate. And then we compare it to their actual scores, and a lot of times their actual scores are like severe and extremely severe, right? And very often it's across all 3 scales of depression, stress, and anxiety. And it's because normal, that has become normal for them, but it's not normal, right? So normal, of course, it does not mean that you have zero depression or zero stress or zero anxiety. It doesn't mean you score 0 on this assessment or this little test we give people, right? Because that's normal human emotions. So you will have a score in it, right? But a lot of times people underestimate how bad things are because this has become their normal. Living with severe and extreme levels of depression, anxiety, and stress has become their normal, right? And until you actually speak to somebody that holds up that mirror and goes, well, actually, compared to other people out there, this is not normal. Just like my doctor did to me. I thought I was, fine. I did not think I had iron deficiency. For me, this was my normal functioning until an expert, a GP, told me, actually, this is the norms, this is the stats, this is where it should be, and this is where you are. And this is what we often do in session as well with people. And I find that, when people come into our sessions and we actually hold up that mirror to them and go, well, this is what's happening for you, it's very often such a huge relief for people when they go, oh my goodness, I just thought it's me, that I didn't have enough coping skills, or there was something wrong with me, that I felt so bad. And I always say, I take my hat off for you for having sat with this for such a long time before seeking help. But I'm so darn glad that you have finally said no more, okay? Because why should your normal be depression, anxiety, stress that's extremely severe, even moderate, even mild? Why should that be your normal, right? But the thing is, unless you check, you won't know. So please, today I want to encourage you. Just like you go to the GP to check out your blood test, your iron, your, all those annual tests that you need to do. Speak to your doctor today about how you're going emotionally, psychologically, mentally, okay? Don't just go, oh, everybody struggles. Yes, everybody struggles, right? But also look after yourself. Is what you are experiencing normal, or is it maybe not normal? It might be your normal, but it might not be the normal for everybody out there, and you won't know until you speak to someone. And the easiest, quickest way to speak to somebody is to talk to your doctor. Obviously, you guys can, book in straight with us. You do not need a referral. You can get a referral from a doctor, but you don't need a referral from a GP to see a psychologist. You can just book in, even if you say it's a once-off appointment. I just want to have an assessment to see how it is that I'm coping, what my symptoms are, and whether I am actually in need of, support and intervention, because it will make a huge difference, right? Just like I know that once I've had my iron infusion, I'm gonna feel so much better. I cannot wait, but I know it's a process. I also know that I'm not gonna get the infusion and then tomorrow I'm gonna feel good, right? Apparently it can take up to 2 weeks for you to really start feeling the impact of the infusion. And the same holds true, of course, when you see a psychologist, right? That it takes time, because we work on emotions, we work on our thinking. A lot of times there's a lot of embedded patterns of behavior and of beliefs, and that doesn't change overnight, but it can be changed. Take my word for it. I've been doing this for years. But the gist of the message again is this, guys. Really self-reflect on what it is that you are going through, okay? What is it that you are going through? Really ask yourself, is the normal that you are feeling today, is this actually normal? Or is this just your new normal? Is this just what you've gotten used to because you've always had this depression, or you've always had this anxiety, right? I personally, when I was still seeing lots of clinical clients in my practice, I did a lot of trauma work, a lot of PTSD work. And I had so many people come in with significant trauma histories. And, I would talk to them about it, and I would go, why did it take you so long to seek help? You've been through so much. And a lot of times they would say, but, I was never diagnosed with PTSD. And it's like, oh, goodness, right? You don't have to have a PTSD diagnosis. When you look at the research, people that have had traumatic experiences, they first and foremost present with depression, anxiety, and then post-traumatic stress disorder, all right, in terms of diagnoses. So yes, you might have PTSD symptoms and traits, but that doesn't mean that you don't have significant depression and anxiety as a result of trauma, right? Don't be so hard on you. I know a lot of people use the thing when they go, other people are so much worse off than me, as a way of coping, and that is very true, right? There are always people worse off than you. Currently, whilst I'm sitting here, there are billions of people worse off more than I am today. Doesn't mean that I don't matter. Doesn't mean that my health, that my mental health doesn't matter. Doesn't give me an excuse not to look after my physical health, after my mental and psychological health. Even if I just do it for me, right? I'm not even talking about doing it for my kids, for my husband, for my family. Even if I just do it for me, you owe it to yourself to look after you. All right, so please, if you are a Psych Professionals client, you're already doing it. Congratulations. If you are a Psych Professionals client and you do know that you've got friends or family that really needs help, that you can see them struggling, well, sometimes it's easier to see from the outside, rather, right, than for people to see it when they're in this situation. Please share this video with them. We are really very eager to get the word out that it's okay to seek support, to ask the question, is what I'm going through normal, yes or no, rather than relying on your own judgment, because with all the love in the world, you are not a psychologist, right? You are not a doctor. And with all the love in the world, don't rely on what your friends and families, judgments are of how you're coping. It comes back to you. So share with other people so that they can also go, how about I invest 30, 40 minutes of my time, go and talk to my doctor. They will normally give you a 10-question questionnaire called the K10 as a screener. It's not going to take a lot of time. Go and check out and see whether your normal is actually normal. And if it's not, please put yourself first and get some help, seek support, and help us break the stigma around mental health. Help us break the stigma around seeking support, because we love doing what we do. We are here to support you, and you deserve to have a proper normal, right? And you deserve to live your best life. You deserve to live your purpose, have meaning. There's no reason why you need to have a normal that's not really normal, right? Gift that to yourself today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for those that's going to be sharing this. I'm relying on you to do that. Share it far and wide. Help us get the message out. And if there's any other questions that you might have, please feel free to call the practice. Feel free to direct message us right here on Facebook. Everything is confidential when you reach out. I will put the details in the comment section as well. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a fabulous week, and I'll speak to you hopefully again soon. You never know when I might pop up and surprise you. Bye, everybody.